Good morning, retail traders. This is the Sneaky Snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And today I'm going to go over a watch list that I think a lot of tickers that have been talked about in this EI run, and just stocks that I've been watching every day. And I'm going to keep doing this rotation watch once a week off this list. And let's go ahead and pull it on up. It's just some major stocks that I've been watching throughout this run, and we've had a little pullback, so I'm going to keep a good eye on them. I've called a little bubble here. And for example, like I always watch the SPX and trade it, and they're all going to be done on the 1 hour time frame. So how to look at stocks on a 1 hour time frame for a weekly trade idea to find support and resistance is today's lesson. And I've got me a mocha. And of course water to go along with it. So this is my watch list, prepared watch list that I'll be watching. This is the Sneaky Snake trading strategy where I do talk about chart patterns and moving averages. And right here we have two chart patterns. We have the same chart pattern, which is called an inverse head and shoulders. If you pull up this time frame right here, you can see we have the left shoulder and the right shoulder, and then we have the boom. In fact, I could straighten this line up a little. Well, I'll just leave it right there. That looks okay. For a support level, you got your left shoulder, and then you got your right. So this thing can pull back and find support, which we have a double confirmation. Also have that 63 EMA lined up with that right shoulder, which also gives me a solid support idea. So I'm going to be watching, I watch it every day. So we also had 3 black crows on Friday with a nice little bounce. Looked to me like maybe a harmony here. Who knows? This could be a nice reversal back to the upside off support. So that's going to be one we're going to be watching real close. Also, if it does not hold this support area, I have this other trend line down here that runs into the third support, which is this other inverse head and shoulders. You have the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. So it could easily find a solid support right there. Then I'd probably load the boat and run it back up to the top. But we're going to see what kind of, we had Pow last week. So I think everything's went through whatever he had to say and digest what he had to say. And we're just going to go back to normal. It's going to be forgot about, and the market's going to still keep running like it's been running. But there has been some fat cats been selling these trades. So just keep that in mind. We've had some people exiting these huge runs. So this is the watch list. Next one on the list is AMD. Cleaned this one up. This is the this here's the 90-day 1 hour time frame. So we have a flag right here. This is called a Darvas box. Sideways bull flag. They go up, they go sideways, consolidate, and then break out. And that's what this thing's looking to do right now. I doubt if it wants to pull back to 180. If it did, it would be a solid buy. The 200 SMA would also be a solid buy. But I'm thinking we're going to create a Darvas box and we'll go sideways. And the support level will be this double bottom right here. And this is AMD. So we're going to put a little box right here. And this is what I'm predicting. I don't know if that's going to happen. Well, that ain't what I wanted. This is what I'm predicting, but I don't know if it's going to happen. We could go ahead and hit the bottom support down here. And this double bottom. Yeah, you can barely see that. I want to change that color. Well, that's good enough. So this double bottoms right here is right where you want to find support at. So if this thing pulls down and hits 198.67 or just right in that area and starts to form some kind of pattern of reversal, I'd be looking at it to go up to the upside and hit this shoulder line come Monday. So we'd have like a little spread between 198 to 110, 112, somewhere on the SPY, and look for a pivot point area in between, create a pivot point. But go sideways, and if it gets desperate, that 200 SMA on the AMD. NVIDIA also, beautiful run on NVIDIA. Man, this thing's way over extended, just hugely. It went up from 500 from the first of the year all the way up to 947, and it needs to consolidate. And I think it could also be doing the same thing, is creating a sideways pattern and kind of consolidate until we hear something about the interest rate hikes. And I'm doing this all on a 1 hour time frame. So for right now though, first support would be the double bottom. And then I got a second reason. It's off the 200 SMA on the 1 hour time frame. I've got a third reason, that is we have a inverse head and shoulders. So all in all, we're nearing down to a solid support level. The 200 SMA and that inverse head and shoulders would be, I think, a very good low support if we did touch it. Very low. I mean, bottom line, maybe bounce off that area right there and hold that support area. If not, we'll do the double bottom and respect that and have a short little run up to the upside, maybe hit the 63, and then start to form some kind of sideways Darvis box on the top of this shoulder line. And then run back and forth for a week or so in that area right in there. So that's going to be something to watch with that resistance right around that 63 EMA. So squeezing between the 200 SMA and the 63 EMA on the 1 hour time frame. SPY the same way. You know, SPY's been on an upward trend, so the safest and best way just to understand this stock real fast, let's clean this up. Right about there. That's it. So if we don't hold this 200 SMA on the 1 hour time frame, we could have a pretty good little sell-off down to this next support level of this triple top breakout. Like I said at the beginning of the video, all I do is trade chart patterns. They're and then I run them up against my moving averages to look for a solid support. So here we have 1, 2 bis, and 3. So if you can count to 3, you can trade with me. So that's a triple top. So if we do not hold the 200 SMA on the 1 hour right here, we could bounce down and hit that triple top support, which I have as just above 500 bucks. And we've got to stay above the 500 bucks. So going sideways, we want to keep it between 5 and 520. But for right now, it's between 5 and maybe 513 into next week. And if we can build support above, support above 513, we could go higher. Why? Again, it's all about chart patterns. So we have the left shoulder and we have the head. We have the triple top breakout, and they like to pull back to that triple top. Here's another confirmation that we could pull back to that triple top. So I can see it pulling back to even below there and finding a solid support again, like I said, around that $500 level. So this is huge. This is called an expansion pattern. So we have all kinds of patterns here. We have an inverse head and shoulders. And then we have the expansion pattern on the SPY. Just like that right there. Come back down here. If we do have a sell-off, find solid support above 500, then load the boat big time and run it back up to about 513. I mean, that's a beautiful trade with a pivot point. This is a beautiful chart, actually. It's looking better and better every second. There's your pivot point inside of that megaphone. So yeah, this is a real nice chart. I gotta pretty this up here. See what I'm talking about? We got a trend going this way, and we got a trend going up this way, and that's called a megaphone expansion pattern. And them things will flip-flop, and we pulled back here, and then we have the previous highs and the previous lows, which causes a pivot point. So right about 508, 509, that 508.50 area would be a solid support. So if it doesn't hold the 200, it could easily come down here and have a double bottom. 505.55 with a strong buy as you rear down closer to the bottom of this here channel. Above 500 bucks. 500 has to hold, keep it strong. So that's, and then we got Tesla. Tesla's at a real critical support level. Let me see here. I got to maybe pull up a bigger time frame just to show you what we're at. So this is the weekly time frame. And if this doesn't hold, we could drop down farther. I think this is a really strategic spot to hold, right around 162 area. It has to hold that, or we could hit even lower and lower on that. Now, I'm bullish on Tesla, but the EV car sector alone is bearish. And along with the negative sentiment about our buddy here, Elon, you know, it just doesn't have that bullish momentum that we need to have unless it breaks a certain resistance. And it would have to be, I would say, the 9. If we can get above the 9 on the weekly, then we'd be bullish. But for right now, you'd just be playing it within a channel. It has to break the 9. But for right now, that's your hard resistance on the weekly. 9 EMA. Keep a good eye on PLTR. Now, we're rearing up here to an inverse head and shoulders on the weekly. We hit that last week. I said it. I said, be careful. This is real hard resistance. Head and shoulders. It's all about chart patterns. I became an excellent trader by learning how to trade chart patterns. It seems like they always cut short, or they hit that chart pattern. That's it. You better recognize it. We're at a resistance, and if we're in the trade and we're down a little, but we hit a shoulder line on that head and shoulders, I might want to take my profit and buy the dip and add on, and then reverse the trade back up to the upside and collect my gain. Stock just might be a wonderful stock, something that you really love, but once they hit a resistance, people are going to recognize that. So here on the weekend, go back in time and look. Don't stop looking at time frames. Hint. P.S. Don't stop looking at time frames until you see a pattern, a chart pattern. It's either bearish or bullish. Don't stop. Keep looking in different time frames if you have to go back 25 years. So the support level would be, you know, we'd have to have a little pullback, maybe to the 2470 area, which I have a 2486. and a lower support back to the 9. And then you could get nasty and get back under 20 again. But PLTR is very bullish. I'm bullish. If I'm bullish on PLTR, there you go. Now, we've had such a huge run on all these AI stocks. So, Apple, we're setting up for an inverse head and shoulders. Last week, we had a little breakout on it. We closed at 170.73, so we pulled back some. Now, I do believe we're at a nice little inverse head and shoulders. This is on the weekly, so we're going to pull up the yearly. I got this line on here for some reason. There you go. So we're at a solid support. We're at a solid support on Apple. You got your left shoulder, you got your head, and you got your right shoulder. Now, I've been a stickler on this here head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. I can trade them all day long. You see how many head and shoulders do you see on this here chart? You want me to point them out to you? Watch this. There's one right there. Left shoulder, right shoulder, boom, back to the 9. There's 2 right there. These are on daily time frames. Left shoulder, right shoulder, head right there. There's 3 right there. Left shoulder, right shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder, head. There's 4 right there. Left shoulder, snake, head, right shoulder, boom. That one failed a little bit, but there's another one right there. And now we're down here to another one. So this here would be a very low support. We had them big gaps down. China. But it's always been their baby. And we're down here at a very low support. So that Apple could be a great trade right now. I'd keep a real close eye on Apple next week. It's got to break the 9. So the 9 right now is your solid resistance. The 9 is your solid resistance to break on the daily. You got the QQQ. Let's go back to the hour. 90-day. Nothing but a good run on this one right here. Clear drawing set. See what we got. Oh, definitely an upward channel with a pullback. Building kind of a solid 1, 2, 3 right down here. We might have broke resistance or support. This is on the hour, so I can take and do that. Run that to the right. So we broke support on it. So this is your first support would be the double bottom out of this snake. You want to run a resistance line or a price line all the way across, which is now your new support right around 436. And that'll be a part of your head and shoulders right here, at least a little J hook where you had these 3 black crows. If that doesn't hold, then your third support will be definitely down here at this triple bottom. And we bounced off that before pretty good, so that could be a solid support level. And this is how you're going to draw this line in here. So you're going to take this trend line, take the body of this candle right here, and run it all the way to the body of that one, and then extend that out to the right. And that's going to be your solid buy come Monday. Set you an alert right above it. Set it right here. You see this channel? With support? Yeah. Set it right up in here. Because this could be a left shoulder. Could be a 2-headed snake. And then it'll come back down and hit that spot. I'm going to draw a price line right there because I like that spot a lot. Then I'll set my alert right. Ah, shoot! What did I just do? Double clicked it and it erased. So I think I learned something new here. When I learn something new, I go in shock. I'm gonna try that again. So like I said, I'm in shock. Okay, so yeah, I got 2 support levels. I want to go ahead and get the double bottom in here too, just in case. Can't forget that double bottom. Just put it at the mark at below, and that'll set me up for both support calls. When you hear the ding ding, I'll be looking for that and see if we can go ahead and retrace the double bottom and keep that. If not, we'll go ahead and drop on more. Hit that 200 SMA down here on the 1, 2, 3 for your third support. Take a little time out and chart these out, and you can find out. This is just on a 1-hour time frame. These are weekly predictions. So solid buy right down here, right around the 430, 448 area. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and set another alert right there because I like that a lot. And if none of them hold, we could get a lot worse. TSM got that good news. They're building that $5 billion plant here in America. It did pull back. We called this trade out, ran up and had a nice little breakout, pulled back. So we're getting back to this support channel down here. You got one right here also that could hold and be a solid support come Monday. Go ahead and put that alert in there just in case, because I kind of like that. And then you got the next one right here. I'm going to raise it up just a little bit to the body of this candle. And the same thing right here. We got the 200 SMA. I'm going to raise this one up just to the top of this candle right here. There we go. Perfect. Fine tune them. You got to fine tune them. Every day changes a little bit, and your perspective changes some. As we start to squeeze down, I want to catch each one of these support levels. That's on TSM. IWM, nice little breakout. I called the very bottom on this trade months ago. I said, man, this thing ain't doing crap compared to what these others are. We're starting to squeeze the flag on it, so I'll be watching it. Google, I think some of the money will go back into Google and run back up to the upside using the 200 SMA as a resistance level on the 1-hour time frame to break. If that breaks, then we'll go higher. If not, we'll go ahead and creep on down and try to make some kind of pattern down here, which could be an inverse head and shoulders. We bounced off a 1, 2, 3 head and shoulders down here, hit the 200 Friday, so it's got to come back up and retest double top, and it can break the double top, but it could come back down one more time and then have a triple top break. That's Google. Amazon starting to squeeze. I think they're going to start throwing money in this. We are a little overextended. It could pull back and go sideways and still make a good pallet in your pocketbook with a lower support just under 170, 168, and a resistance. Oops. Here, let's magnify this up. Yeah, see this? Let's look at a couple things. Let's look at the daily. Daily's got a flat, yeah, we're squeezing. We're definitely getting ready to squeeze on Amazon. This is the daily. So if we hold above the 9, we're bullish, which would be this support level right here. Let me clean this up. Nope. Get that not close enough. That'll work. 175 area. So we're definitely at support right now. With a lower support off the 21. 10.4. That price line's right around right there. 173. 173 would be nice to hold on Amazon, then have a resistance level this week of right around 178. So between 173 and 178, keeping it between the 21. This is on the daily, with a resistance to break right around 178.23. We got Meta on this list. Meta's been on a streak. As long as it holds the 9, we're still bullish. Now, this thing could pull back and start to work sideways. And I'm going to say for right now, that support level would be, it'd have to be the 21. Just the 21 in general. Whatever the 21 is on that day, given day, 21 EMA on the daily is going to be your solid support. It's just going to be that way. With 450, 460 is a strong buy, the bottom of this channel. If it does start to sell off and people start to take profit, this thing is over. I mean, people have made a lot of money on this trade. Okay. I really want you to pay attention to this. The smart traders, the ones with the money, where do you think they are on this trade? I bet you some of them are down here right around 150 bucks. Still holding on. Sold some, but still holding on to position. And you're up here at $500, 523. This is an election year. You know what happened during the last election year? 4 years ago. What happened back then? Oh, Musk had to go up to the courthouse, to the White House. Still had a pretty good run, though, didn't it? Man, this was a beautiful, beautiful buy. This was a great buy back then. This really was. Because you got your left shoulder and your right shoulder right here. This thing, I mean, this was a beautiful. This was beautiful. Yeah, that's right. We extend it to the right. I mean, beautiful little head and shoulders, left shoulder, head. Breaks out, pulls back to the right shoulder, and then just keeps running the 9 all the way straight up. So eventually it's going to pull back to the 9, but when's it going to do that? You know what I'm saying? And that's the bottom of this here box, which could be the top of this here candle. That's where I'm going to put my price line, support line right there on this weekly candle right here. And then I'm going to look at the yearly. Oh yeah. 350 all the way up to, this is too big of a run. People are going to take profit on this trade. Even the ones that got in this year, right after they sold everything last year, are probably going, wow, I'm up a couple $100 on this trade. Let it pull back 10-15%. Meta. I wouldn't be too bullish on it, but we'll see. You know, I could be wrong. I'm just going by price action. So on the 1 hour time frame, the 200 is going to be our support level for now. And we'll just call it that. Whoop. Then we got Microsoft on here. It's definitely at a support line with a two-headed snake. So it's definitely at a solid support right now. We got to see what it's going to hold. If it's going to hold the 404.10 come Monday morning, or even lower than that, with a solid support. Just right under it, right around 403, 402, which would be which could be the neckline of this here two-headed snake. Right there. And they meet right on each other. So somewhere in that channel between 403 and 404 is going to be your support level to hold. We want that to hold in a way. You got a flag here, so it's got to squeeze out this week, Microsoft. And it sold off and had a little bounce back like last week. It could come down and have a triple bottom, 1, 2, 3, and find your third support right down there. And be a very strong buy. Somewhere around 401. Also, that's my lucky employee number. So if you get a little sell-off down here, oh man, I think I'd go ahead and take that trade and run it back up to 405, 406. Maybe even 408, back to the 200 SMA. That's that yellow line right here. This is on the 1 hour time frame. This is not a bad looking chart. This is one you want to keep on watch next week. See if it has the 1, 2, 3 down here. It hits that 1, 2, 3. Or have a little bit higher low. Come in on some news. That's all it takes, a little hit of news. I think it's setting up. I think it's setting up. I had that feeling. But you get this feeling about things. Walmart. 200 SMA is your solid support. That's where I'd set my alert, right off that 200. I wouldn't hesitate, and I'd walk away. Then we got that's on the 1 hour time frame. Now, same thing with SMCI, overextended. This thing can easily have a little knife and double bottom down here. 1, 2. That or come back and hit a solid buy off the 200 SMA. And I would load the boat. And this trade could really pay off good if you just have enough patience and wait for that 200 SMA on the 1 hour time frame. SMCI, I'm telling you. Pay attention. Oh man, I love that spot right there. I really do. That double bottom looks very, very, very frothy. Very frothy. Let's make it to 30. I want to get there before, I want to know before it even gets there, because I don't want to miss this trade. That's how enthused I'm back to this. These knives are perfect. It's a perfect spot. Perfect spot. I'm telling you. I might even raise it. I'm going to raise it up to that candle. I don't want to miss this trade. Right there. There we go. What's that? Right above 1,000. That's where we want to keep it. Then we have this trend line right here if things get nasty. And you really want to go ahead and take that trade strong right here. Right around 900 bucks. So as we start to pull back, we won't hold this. I think we're going to pull back and hit this other support level down here. And if that doesn't hold, you got the 200 SMA, and then you got the 1, 2, 3 down here, maybe 4 if you want more. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. Around $900. This is a good looking chart to be watching next week. SMCI. Yeah, I'm telling you. Boeing. That looks real good. Nice little healthy pullback on SMCI. This double bottom area, run back up, find resistance here, and then come back down third time and hit the 200, and then run back up and start to go sideways. Create a head and shoulders. You got a head and shoulders right here. So that's your hard resistance. This is a good looking chart. If we can come down here and find some kind of support and build a squeeze and go sideways and consolidate for a week or 2 weeks and have another good breakout. But then the patience might be too long, too short. I expect another pullback on this and then capitalize on the knife. We should see some volatility. Jimmy likes. We'll just have to see. Boeing's on this watch list. We've got an inverse head and shoulders down here, and we could have a 1, 2, 3. It could easily pull back down to this slower support level of 196. We need to go to a bigger time frame on this, which would be a 3-year. Weekly. If you look at that, you have a Darvis box right here. This support line of 196.34 in that Darvis box is also an inverted head and shoulders. I don't want to. I'm going to clean this up. Here, let's show you what I wrote on it here first. It's already charted this thing up. See how it's setting up? You got your snake. Okay. Boeing, you got your snake. Breakout. Pull back. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Back up to a flag, which is a pretty good little bounce. And then it created a flag. Well, this flag is just a small falling wedge. It's almost a descending flag. If you get any kind of news, there's going to be a news factor next week. It's going to have some kind of news. If the news is just an anchor and positive, we could run back up and find resistance to break on the top of this flag. If more bad news comes in on this Boeing, which could, because they've gone woke, they got the jinx, it could drop below that, and we could be finding us a new support level. So this 196 is 34 is very important to hold. Now Boeing has a descending wedge, a small slant that is. I am not bullish on Boeing, but I do think the squeeze is in. Let me bring this down. The squeeze is in for this week. We may be in the final support stage for it to run back up and break out of this channel. If not, we're going to go ahead and fail and squeeze on down and find a new support level, and the new resistance will become what was the old support. That's on Boeing. And then we've got, so yeah, we got to watch this next week and see the squeeze and hope for any kind of good news. Then we could trade it bullish within the channel of the falling wedge. And it's just a small falling wedge, almost rendering into a descending triangle, which is bearish. But when you're coming from a downtrend, that could just be squeezing out to break that channel and run back up and get back to that 215 area. So that's my long 215, solid support for right now, 196.34. Lily, 1 hour time frame. We had a 1, 2, 3 last week on her, and I think she broke down. We're going to see right here. Yep, she broke out of that. So this could fail a little bit more. Now they started pumping it with another, I think there was another drug out there for fat people. That's what they called it last week, was the fat drug. And then they kind of recognized. So we got two different supports. The first one was definitely a no-brainer at 761. The next support level is going to be the bottom of this channel and the bottom of this channel, which is going to be right around 748 with a double bottom right around 736, above 736. Keep those in mind, period. For right now, though, we broke the 200 SMA, we broke the 123, and we could, like I said, hit those other two support levels, which would be 748 and 786. 736. Then we got Mr. on here. What a run on Mr. Look at that. Woo! This could have a real frantic. You got to watch it with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts to sell off, I'd be buying puts on Mr. and run it down. See if it wants to hold this here support channel that's inside of this box. So 13, 19, 14, 47 for right now is support level, which we're going to make the 50 SMA on this trade your support to hold. 50 and 61, 63. The 50 SMA and the 63 EMA. If they don't hold, then it could easily drop down here to the 200, right above it. Last but not least, Netflix. Netflix is coming down, bouncing off the 200. That's what it's got to hold for support level. If it doesn't, it could fall down into these two other different supports that I have right here. And I don't know, this could change. Let's look at the daily. I'm not satisfied with this chart right now. Let's go back here to the daily. Let's clean this up. If you don't see something in the chart, erase it, start fresh. We're going to see, it's been hugging the 9, okay? So I had to see that. As long as we stay above the 9 and close above the 9, we're going to be bullish on Netflix. If not, we could have a nice little knife to the 21 and be a buy signal. For right now, Netflix, it looks to me like it's too damn high and it needs to pull back and consolidate and goes to the sideways pattern with a low support on the bottom of this candle right here, right around 597.90 to hold. If that doesn't hold, we're going to drop down and hit 587. That's all I need to know on that chart. Well, that's it. I'm going to keep this watch list just like it is. I ain't going to touch it. I'm going to talk about it for a couple of times this week, and we're just going to follow it, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to take off of it next week and what I might add to it, or if it's even worth trading anymore. It's not an experiment. It's just stocks that I've been watching with this run, and we're in a bubble, and we need to go sideways and consolidate, and it's just in the nature of that. Everybody's talking about it. You hear irrational exuberance all the time now. You know, I'm the only one that's speaking that garbage. Been speaking it for a couple months, so I know what it feels like, and that's it. Retail traders, this is definitely the sneaky snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. Have a great day.